What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to our Bible study. Okay, so we're looking at Numbers chapter 13 right now. Previous chapters were basically just about, getting a sense of the numbers of the Israelites, and how they would kind of, move themselves throughout the wilderness to the promised land. They left Mount Sinai and seemingly have made it, as of this chapter, pretty close at least to the promised land. But we'll get to more of that here in this chapter. So, here we go. Numbers chapter 13. The Lord now said to Moses, "Send out men to explore the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to the Israelites. Send one leader from each of the 12 ancestral tribes." So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He sent out 12 men, all tribal leaders of Israel, from their camp in the wilderness of Paran. These were the tribes and the names of their leaders. From the tribe of Reuben, Shammua son of Zakur. From the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat son of Hori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb son of Jephunneh. From the tribe of Issachar, Igal son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea son of Nun. From the tribe of Benjamin, Palti son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel son of Sodi. From the tribe of Manasseh son of Joseph, Gadi son of Susi. From the tribe of Dan, Amiel son of Gamali, or Gemalai, I don't know. From the tribe of Asher, Sethur son of Michael. From the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi son of Vophsi. And from the tribe of Gad, Guel son of Maki. These are the names of the men Moses sent out to explore the land. Moses called Hoshea son of Nun by the name Joshua. Yeah, that's one of those things where in Hebrew, names are... It's not exactly rare to have certain names be pronounced different ways and still be kind of the same name. So, they've actually kind of gotten to the outskirts of the promised land at this point. And Moses is selecting leaders to go out and scout the area, basically. And of course, the one from each tribe. And Okay, didn't really say yet how they would spy out the land. We'll probably get to that here, starting in verse 17. Moses gave the men these instructions as he sent them out to explore the land. Go north through the Negev into the hill country. See what the land is like, and find out whether the people living there are strong or weak, few or many. See what kind of land they live in. Is it good or bad? Do their towns have walls, or are they unprotected like open camps? Is the soil fertile or poor? Are there many trees? Do your best to bring back samples of the crops you see. It happened to be the season for harvesting the first ripe grapes. Which is why it would have been possible even to get crops. Or samples of the crops, at least. So, basically, Moses just wants them to see what it's like and give him a report. Basically, is the land worth taking over? How good is the quality of the land? And also, how difficult is it going to be to take over? Thus the questions about, how strong are the people? Are their cities fortified? And those kinds of things. because I would guess there's going to be a bit of consideration as to, okay, is the risk going to be worth the reward? So, then we get to verse 21. So they went up, they being the leaders, I assume. So they went up and explored the land from the wilderness of Zin as far as Rehob, near Lebo Hamath. Going north, they passed through the Negev and arrived at Hebron, where Ahiman, Seshai, and Talmai, all descendants of Anak, lived. The ancient town of Hebron was founded 7 years before the Egyptian city of Zoan. When they came to the valley of Eshcol, they cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes, so large that it took 2 of them to carry it on a pole between them. They also brought back samples of the pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol, which means cluster, because of the cluster of grapes the Israelite men cut there. Okay, so they went there, they got some of the, crops, mostly fruit, it seems, and it was big, apparently, or at least there was a lot. The cluster of grapes, at the very least, was large. And again, all this is just to get a sense of, because God has promised that they would inhabit this land, or at least, that the descendants of Abraham way back when would, multiply and be able to live in this particular land, the land of Canaan. Abraham himself eventually, lived there in his own time, but because of the famine moving, his descendants to Egypt, just in order to have food to live, and then living there and growing too big for Pharaoh's liking, and, being treated as slaves there, they, had to make their way back to the promised land after 400 plus years. So, anyway, so this was stuff that they were, looking at and, taking just as samples from that promised land. So, then we get to verse 25. After exploring the land for 40 days, the men returned to Moses, Aaron, and the whole community of Israel at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran. They reported to the whole community what they had seen and showed them the fruit they had taken from the land. This was their report to Moses. We entered the land you sent us to explore, and it is indeed a bountiful country, a land flowing with milk and honey. Here is the kind of fruit it produces. But the people living there are powerful, and their towns are large and fortified. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. The Amalekites live in the Negev, and the Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country. The Canaanites live along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea and along the Jordan Valley. So, basically, the general consensus of the scouts' report was that, yes, the land is good and plentiful, but it's going to be really, really hard to take over such a land. The people there are strong. Some of them are giants even. And their cities are fortified, and just kind of questioning whether it's worth it because of how high essentially that the risk seems relative to the reward. The reward would be a good reward, but the risk is also real high. So they're kind of questioning whether it's really worth it. But then in verse 30, but Caleb tried to quiet the people as they stood before Moses. "Let's go at once to take the land," he said. "We can certainly conquer it." But the other men who had explored the land with him disagreed. "We can't go up against them. They are stronger than we are." So they spread this bad report about the land among the Israelites. "The land we traveled through and explored will devour anyone who goes to live there. All the people we saw were huge. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. Next to them, we felt like grasshoppers, and that's what they thought too." So Caleb was all gung-ho about it because he was like, okay, look, the land's good. We can take it. God's on our side. The majority of the scouts don't really think it's worth it, and they're trying to convince the rest of the Israelite camp to agree with that assessment. And I guess that's kind of where things leave off for Numbers chapter 13. Okay, so some people scouted the promised land, basically, and they're not exactly liking their chances, at least most of them. But we'll see what the final conclusion is in the next chapter. So anyway, as always, like and share if you enjoyed the video and want others to see. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get updates when I post new videos. Look down in the description to get info on other social media pages and all that good stuff. And leave comments below there with any thoughts you have. So that's going to do it for now. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you for the next video. But until then, stay cool, people.